Yo, what up, y'all? Today we jumping into some more Back for Blood. In this one, we're going to be going over the highly requested Evangelo speed build. Now, the reason why speed actually even became a thing in the first place in Back for Blood, so back when the game first came out, the highest difficulty was Nightmare. Now, the Nightmare, when it first came out, was pretty much impossible. Each time a mutation spawned, it can spawn anywhere from like 7 to 10 mutations. Everything was monstrous. It was just a total pretty much pain in the A, only because it was taking so long to just get off of the first part of maps. Because if you even hit a sleeper, you hit an alarm door, you're looking at 7 to 10 mutations pushing you. And then back then there really wasn't insane builds that clap up mutations. Ignore the pain didn't exist. A lot of the melee things, meth head was different. A lot of it really didn't even exist at that time. So it was super hard to even really kind of sustain those enemies. But nowadays, since they, watered Nightmare down, they came out with No Hope, it's a lot easier to kind of speed run through it nowadays. So I definitely think this build would be super beneficial to those who are looking to kind of just get their SWAT skins. It's also really good if you're trying to grind supply points, duffel bags, or even totems. So that way, you're not doing each map for 20 minutes. So I'm going to do this on Nightmare. Now, just to kind of put it into perspective, I'm going to run through the entire Act 3 on Nightmare with just bots. Each map typically can take anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes, and there's usually about 6 maps per act. So you're looking at maybe like an hour and a half, 2.5 hours if you ran through it normally. On this build, me running through it here, it actually only took me 42 minutes. I sped it up just for the sake of time, so the video is about 20 minutes, but it only took about 40 minutes in order for me to do it with bots. Now, another thing I want to add, the reason why I think it's way easier with bots is because, number one, bots don't miss. Number two, bots don't set things off, like sleepers, alarm doors, things like that. And then number three, as you're speed running through it, the bots actually will teleport to you as you get further and further. So if you're playing with a team, if you're playing this publicly, I wouldn't necessarily suggest doing a speed build, only because it kind of messes up the game a little bit when there's multiple people in there. Because there's still people out there that are trying to learn the game. They want to play it legitimately. They're not looking to just run through the game and, just win that way. They kind of want to go through the maps, pick up the gold, get the items, things to that nature. So if you are looking to speed build, what I would suggest doing is either doing it privately, or, if you do want to play public, so then that way you can get the achievements, get the SWAT skins. What you can do is you could change your game preferences, so just turn off crossplay and then go to voice preferences and put it on no voice, because most people aren't playing, on these preferences. Most people got crossplay turned on. So if you have those preferences, you're not going to find anybody. And then you can just play with bots the whole time. Now, since we're going to be speed running through the game, obviously we're not going to be stopping to get gold, so you really need to watch what it is that you're purchasing with your gold. Now, the main ways that you're going to get gold is going to be on the maps where no cleaners die or you don't set off any alarms. So those are going to be your main 2 ways of getting gold. Now, what you want to look out for, you want to try to get movement speed stocks on your weapon, and then you also want to try to get movement speed on your melee weapon. So then that way you get the extra move speed, you get the extra sprint speed, which is just going to make this a whole lot easier. Another thing I will add into as well is just save all your money, because as your money starts to add up, then you can actually just get stamina upgrades, and then you can also get health upgrades as well. So what we'll do, we'll jump into the build here next. I'll show you guys a Nightmare and a No Hope variation. So for Nightmare, we're going to go Meth Head, Cross Trainers, Run Like Hell. We're going to grab all the speed cards basically. Now, another really important card that you want to have is going to be Natural Sprinter. That's going to give you 100% stamina regeneration. So ultimately, you're just going to be able to run around forever. And then instead of you having to kill enemies or kill zombies in order to regen your stamina, you just have to stand there for a couple seconds and it'll regen right away. Now, fit as a fiddle, you can do this speed build on anybody. I'm setting these up on Evangelo. Fit as a Fiddle is very important, but if you're going to be using Charisse, you can actually take Fit as a Fiddle off and go with Well Rested because she already comes with Fit as a Fiddle. And then if you're going to be doing this on No Hope, the build, it's ultimately the same thing. We're just going to be going with less speed and more damage. So the reason being is because on No Hope, there's a couple things that can stop your run. So number one is going to be pure chaos. You know, they're going to be doing way more damage and you're not going to have as much healing. So having the more healing on your deck and also having Ignore the Pain is going to be super duper important for you to kill important things that are going to get into your way. Another thing too about No Hope, the main run stopper is going to be a breaker. So the reason why we got more damage for the No Hope speed run is because that breaker, you're going to have to be able to kill him. If you can't kill him, trust me, that map is over. I can promise you that. So if you're going to be running on No Hope, do it like that. Now, if you are not, if you're going to be doing it on Charisse, you can actually take off Fit as a Fiddle, and then you can go with like Mad Dash, you know, you can go with a couple extra things, because again, the Fit as a Fiddle comes on Charisse, but it is a super important card for you to use. So with speed, again, like I was saying, you really don't want to do it on No Hope, only because I don't really see there to be a point. You really don't get anything for it. You know, you'll get an emblem, you'll get a title, but you know, if you have 4 people who are actually No Hope ready builds, you know, people that know what they're doing, it'd be a lot easier for you to just run through No Hope regularly instead of trying to speed run it, because it's so much harder to speed run it, I promise you. But for Nightmare, you could pretty much run through literally any map. Now the reason I'm doing it on Act 3, because I think Act 3 is the hardest with the T5. And then, you know, another thing too is the main things that are really going to stop you, not just in Act 3 but in any act, are going to be these parts where you have to actually kind of stand still, defend something, pop nodes. So especially on No Hope, it's going to be really good to have that extra healing, that extra survivability. But on Nightmare, you'll be able to literally run through anything. Each map, I would say there's usually about 6 maps per act. Each map probably takes about 10, 15, 20 minutes if you guys are just walking through it normally. Me beating this entire thing on Act 3 only took me 42 minutes. So, you know, instead of it taking you 2-3 hours in order to beat an entire act, you could do these in about 30-40 minutes, depending on what act it is. And to be honest, with Act 3, you know, with T5, that's like a 20-minute map by itself. And then especially with this one too, Garden Party, this is like a 15-minute map. So you can only imagine doing this on like Act 2, Act 1, you know, Act 5. You'll be able to speed run through it, I would say, in less than 45 minutes easily, no problem at all. Now what I will do is go over my T5 strategy as well. So on No Hope and on Nightmare, what I do on T5. Now if you're running it with bots, I can promise you the bots are going to die every single time. So what you want to do is maximize like the importance of what you're doing while the bots are alive. So what I typically would do, I would run around the entire building and knock down all the doors, because each second counts in T5. You don't want to get swarmed. You don't want to, you know, mutation to walk up on you and mess you up. So while the bots are alive, try to run through the entire building and knock down every single knockdownable door, so then that way you don't have to worry about that later. And then I'll start with doing the hard things. So I would start up top on the top floor, try to go back there into every crevice and pull the boxes out and throw them outside of the house. So what I'll do is I'll just run around through the house. I'm not going to return the boxes right away. I'm going to grab every box and put it outside of the house. So go top floor, then you want to go bottom floor, because bottom floor has some really annoying crevices as well. And then I saved the middle floor, I saved that for the last, only because that one's way easier to kind of maneuver through. All you have to do is kind of grab the box, throw it out the window, jump out the window, run around the building, and then, you know, you just rinse and repeat until you have all the boxes. Now, another thing too about T5, once you get all the boxes outside, it's really just going to be maneuvering the zombies around the house, because you don't want to run into a mutation. You know, you definitely don't want to get hit by a bruiser on Nightmare or No Hope. and you definitely don't want to get caught by a stinger. So that's mainly the reason why I do the speed builds on Evangelo, because you'll have the built-in breakout. And then the 2 burn cards that I would typically use the entire speed run is going to be Slippery when wet, so you get even another breakout. And then I'm going to use Urgent Care. So, if you do have a map where you take a bunch of damage, you got a lot of trauma, you just want to keep popping the Urgent Care, which is going to give you some nice healing. And then, of course, if you're full trauma or you haven't taken that much damage, I would just go with the Slippery when wet, so you have another way to break out. Now, especially too, the loadout I'm going to be running, it's always going to be Stun Gun, Pain Pills, and Flashbang. You need the Stun Gun for another breakout. I rock the Pain Pills over the Med Kit just because you can pop the Pain Pills faster. Instead of you having to stand there and pop a Med Kit for like 5 seconds, you can do a Pain Pill in like 1 second or 2 seconds. So that's the loadout that I run. And then just in case you run into a breaker, or the hag is getting annoying, or even if there's an ogre like blocking your way, you could just flashbang them and then run right past them. So definitely think that's a good loadout. Down in the comments, let me know what you guys are doing with speed these days. I personally think the speed melee is the way to go, only because you can definitely get enough speed just with the 5 cards, the Mad Dash, Fleet of Foot, and Run Like Hell, and cross trainers. You can get enough speed with just that alone. And then after that, it's ultimately up to you. Now on Nightmare, you probably can get a little bit more creative. You can go with straight speed, defensive maneuver. You could probably throw in something like On Your Mark, Belligerent. Things that when a horde goes off, you get buffs. So those are really good. But I personally think, just having that extra melee damage just in case you get swarmed, that's definitely super beneficial, because as you can see here, especially on T5, you run out of heals, you don't have a way to heal. You can actually use your melee to heal. Now, as far as the attachments, all the way to the right, you want to try to get the extra damage, which is going to be super beneficial. You want to have that melee sprint and move speed. That's probably the #1 attachment that you're looking for. So in that way, you can kind of just sprint through everything. You can keep your melee weapon out. You don't have to worry about switching weapons. And then for the third thing, we're going to go with melee healing. If you can get the blue attachments, as I have here, you'll run around. When you need to heal, you can kind of just turn around, beat up on some zombies, and then just keep pushing. So I definitely think this is the way to go. Now, again, I do have everything sped up just for the sake of time. This entire run took 42 minutes for me to beat all of Act 3. So yeah. And instead of it taking 2-3 hours, you can kind of just run through it this way. And again, I wouldn't recommend doing it publicly, only because it may just ruin other people's experience. And then, they'll just start talking crap to you, you're bad. The reason why you have to speed run is because you're not good at the game, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, people who are able to speed run the game, you have to be an advanced player, you know what I mean? Because you have to know where the sleepers are. You got to know how to counter certain things. You got to know where to go, what to do. You got to know the little shortcuts and things of that nature. So for someone to be able to speed run, trust me, they have some sort of skill. I can promise you that. But that's not what people are going to say to you while you're playing. So I would try to stay away from doing it publicly. Like I was saying, just change your preferences, turn off your crossplay, put it on no voice preferred. So then that way nobody joins the game. You could play with just bots, and then you'll still get your achievements, for the SWAT skins. If you're looking to get the duffel bags, you can still get all that. So again, down in the comments, let me know what you guys think about the build, how you guys are doing speed. I am going to be doing a Tala build next. I think I'm going to try to do a Prophet build. Me personally, I don't like either one of those characters, but for you guys, I'll definitely try to come up with something for you. I think for Tala, just having the extra bleed damage is really good, especially on melee. But I noticed that a lot of people want to see Tala shotgun, so we'll probably try to do something on that too. So I'll let the rest of the video play out. Again, I think Act 3 is the hardest to speed run, so that's why I showcased this one. Any other act, Act 1, Act 2, Act 5, Act 6, is literally a cakewalk, because there's not really much that you have to just sit around and do. And you know, T5 especially, that takes skill, whether you're doing speed or even not speed. So I definitely think those are the hardest. Again, I appreciate you guys checking out the vid. Down in the comments, let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you on the next vid. Peace.